So we have shown that x1 tilde and x2 tilde are IID, sorry, x1 dash and x2 dash are IID exponential alpha. Okay. Now let's try to see how to generalize this to show that x1 dash, x2 dash up to xk dash are actually IID exponential alpha. We won't do that. We'll just break it up into two exercises, which I would ask you to solve. You don't have to submit it, but you have to solve it. Okay, you solve it yourself. Okay, so what are the extensions that will complete the proof of theorem star star? First exercise is show that for any k bigger than or equal to 2, k equal to 2 is already done, so you will do it for general k. Whenever you take a collection of positive real numbers that honors this inequality, this joint probability is given by this thing. For k equal to 2, we have just proved this thing. Okay? And from here, you show that x1 dash, x2 dash up to xk dash are IID following exponential distribution with parameter alpha. And the spirit of these exercises are very similar to what we have done in this, in this lecture, except that it's a bit more complicated because of the notations. Instead of two-dimensional random vectors, you have to deal with k-dimensional random vectors. That's all. There's nothing to it. Okay, so now what we have completed so far, if we summarize in this course, is we started with one definition of homogeneous Poisson process, starting with IID exponential alpha inter-arrival times, and then counting the number of arrivals up to time t. And then we gave a characterization of a homogeneous Poisson process as a stochastic process that starts from 0 and has independent and stationary increments, where the increments are Poissonian with parameter alpha times the length of the interval. We just completed the proof, well, I would say the sketch of proof of this characterization. Now it's time to learn about more properties of homogeneous Poisson process. Let's start with an example. I'll call it a warm-up question. Okay. Fix a t positive. Suppose it is given to you that up to time t, exactly one phone call has arrived. Suppose I ask you the following question. What can you say about the exact arrival time of the first phone call? If it's given that exactly one phone call has arrived up to time t. Now, the question is vague. What do you mean by what can you say? What I'm asking is this question in red. Given nt equal to 1, what is the conditional distribution of the first arrival time, S1? Note that if it is known that up to time t, when I say up to, it's up to and including. So when up to time t, exactly one phone call has arrived, then the position of the first phone call has conditional range 0 to t. Okay? Here 0 is not included because n0 is 1, we know that. But n0 is 0, we know that. n0 is a 0 random variable. So, but I'm allowing the call to come exactly at time t. Okay? It's okay. This is just, this is not going to be important because this distribution is going to be a continuous distribution. But still, let's put it like that. So fix at an s, which is bigger than s, which is positive and less than or equal to t. Now note that there is a typo again. Probability of s1 less than or equal to s, it should be s1. Okay? I'll correct it. Given nt equal to 1 is same as probability of s1 less than or equal to s and nt equal to 1 divided by probability of nt equal to 1. This is just a definition. This should be S1, as I said. Now, this one is very easy to compute, the denominator, because we know nt follows Poisson with parameter alpha times t. However, the problem of the numerator is that It involves one continuous random variable and one discrete random variable. It's a joint probability that contains one random variable which is continuous, another one which is discrete. So therefore, this probability, this joint probability looks ugly to compute. So let's make sure we make it less ugly in the sense that we are going to make it somehow everything written in terms of discrete random variables. How to do that? Note that, what is this statement? First of all, this statement is first arrival happens on or before time s, and up to time t, exactly one phone call comes. This is same as saying up to time s, exactly one phone call comes. That's exactly when S1 will be less than or equal to S. And between time S and T, no phone call will arrive. If these two happen together, then this will happen. And if this happens, then these two will happen together. Okay? So therefore, by going here, I've been able to convert this probability to only involving discrete random variables, removing the ugliness. Not only that I've removed the ugliness, I've also put it in a way that we can use the independent increments property of the Poisson distribution. Note that ns and nt minus ns are going to be independent. So therefore, I can immediately write this as a product of these two probabilities. Now we also know that ns follows Poisson with parameter alpha s, nt follows Poisson with parameter alpha t, and nt minus ns follows Poisson with parameter alpha times t minus s. Therefore, we can compute these probabilities. This is the probability of a Poisson random variable taking the value 1, which is this part here. This is the contribution of this probability here. Probability of nt minus n is equal to 0, and then probability of nt equal to 1 is this guy here. Now, once you write everything, you will see that exponentials will all get cancelled. This times this and this will get cancelled. What will be remaining with, and alpha also will get cancelled. We just get s over t, which is for every s between 0 and t, we'll have s by t. So this is the conditional CDF of S1. This should be S1, as I said, given nt equal to 1. And obviously this means given nt equal to 1, conditionally S1 follows uniform 0 to t. Remember, uniform 0 to t has exactly this CDF. Now, of course, you would ask immediately, why uniform? So what we observe is, as you said, for a fixed t, if it is given up to time, that up to time t exactly one phone call has arrived, the exact time of that phone call conditionally follows a uniform distribution of 0 to t. Now, why is it uniform? So what it means is that, first of all, before answering that question, having exactly one phone call in the time interval 0 to t does not give any extra information on the exact arrival time of the call. You just know that it's somewhere between 0 to t and it's uniform, that's it. So the fact that exactly one phone call has arrived doesn't tell you where there should be any bias towards a particular point between 0 to t. It's uniform. And that's just a manifestation of lack of memory property of uniform distribution. If it is given that exactly one phone call has arrived, all the times from 0 to t are uniformly distributed, uniformly possible to be the first arrival time. Okay, this is basically lack of memory property of exponential distribution. Now, obvious question would be, what happens when n phone calls arrive up to time t? So in other words, I'm asking the question, if it is given that up to time t exactly n phone calls arrive, then what can you say about the conditional distributions of the arrival times of these n calls? Of course, because of this intuition of lack of memory property, you would immediately say, oh, they should be uniform from 0 to t. But note that there is a constraint here. The first phone call cannot be bigger than the second phone call. The second phone call arrival time, arrival time of the second phone call cannot be bigger than the arrival time of the third phone call and so on. There is an obvious ordering between them. First phone call should arrive first, then the second phone call, then the third phone call and so on. I would say subject to this ordering, it should be uniform. What do I mean by that? By that I mean the following. This is called order statistic property. If you fix a t positive and an n positive integer n, then given that exactly n phone calls arrive up to time n, the conditional distribution of S1, this should be S2, S1, S2 and up to Sn is same as the unconditional distribution of the order statistics U1 less than U2, U bracket 1, U bracket 2 to Un based on a random sample of size n, U1 to Un following IIT uniform 0t. So as I said, this should be S2. Okay, I'll correct that too. If S1, S2, etc., they have an obvious ordering. S1 is less than S2, S2 is less than S3, and so on, right? At least less than equal to, but these are all continuous random variables. So conditionally also they're going to be continuous. It's S1 is strictly less than S2 and so on. That would be the only constraint. Other than that, S1 to Sn are uniform, as independent as possible, except that ordering. So that means the conditional distribution of S1 to Sn given nt equal to n is same as the unconditional distribution of the order statistics coming from a random sample of size n from uniform 0t distribution. Okay, so the order statistics are taken so that this order is preserved, S1 less than S2 and so on, up to less than Sn. So in other words, this is again another manifestation of lack of memory property. And it's saying that if you know that exactly n phone calls have arrived up to time t, the positions of the phone calls are more or less IID uniform 0t, except that there is an obvious ordering between them. And the obvious ordering is given through this order statistics. Okay. More precisely, the conditional probability density function of S1 to Sn given nt equal to n is this thing. This is the conditional density. This is the notation we use for conditional density. It's when S1 is less than S2 and all the way up to Sn. So when S1 is less than S2 is less than S3 and so on all the way up to Sn, and all of them are between 0 and t, then this should be n factorial over t power n and 0 otherwise. Recall from probability theory 2 that this was indeed the conditional, was indeed the probability density, joint probability density function of the order statistics coming from a random sample of size n from uniform 0t distribution. Note that if you didn't have order statistics, this n factorial won't be there. You just have the joint density of U1 to Un, then you will have 1 over t power n. Okay? And then S1 to Sn will have no constraints. All of them will be just unconstrained in an unconstrained manner between 0 and t. However, we are talking about order statistics. Therefore, we have to fix the ordering from S1 to Sn. Okay, so you will only be allowed to take one of the orderings. And since we are only taking one of the orderings, we'll have to adjust this by n factorial. Okay, this we computed. This is just, I'm giving you the idea why we got this, but we computed this order statistics in probability theory 2. So this is the unconditional distribution of order statistics U1 to Un based on a random sample of size n from uniform 0 to distribution. Okay, this property is called order statistic property. We won't give the proof, but we'll give a sketch of proof of this result in the next lecture. And the sketch will be very similar to the proof of the theorem that we actually proved today, namely the characterization of Poisson, homogeneous Poisson process. What we'll do instead, we'll actually present in this lecture an application of order statistic